Good morning and happy Tuesday. It's not Monday, even though I thought it was for a second. Yeah. Oh God. Good morning. So last night was VFriend Series 2 Mint. It was finally live. They had to work out some technical difficulties. But it went live last night, and I kept seeing posts that people were paying like $6, $8, $10 in gas fees. Some guy like minted like 35 Series 1s, or sorry, Series 2s, and he paid like $300 in gas and was like, yeah, you know, take a bow, Gary. And I was like, oh, this makes me feel really good because I have equivalent to like $40 in ETH in my MetaMask wallet. And I was like, this sounds like I can actually afford to mint this baby and call it a day, right? So I log in. I see my little turkey and I click on my turkey and I add my turkey to the checkout. And when I hit that button to go a step further, I got that insufficient funds. And I was like, oh my God, like this can't even escape me in digital life, you know, insufficient funds. But I was like, what the heck is going on? So what Gary V had done to like mitigate gas costs is they put like a 2-step process in place. And I don't, you know, there was a big old blog on it. But basically it's like you pay like an initial processing fee or transaction fee, which mitigates the cost of the gas. So you're essentially giving, you know, VFriends access to the wallet, approving the transaction, and then it can move the step forward. And by doing this, they actually kept gas prices down and pretty stable so that people were not getting like raked over the coals. The only downside to that I found is that, you know, unless you already have a hearty amount of ETH in your wallet, like, you know, at least like, I don't know, $100 equivalent, or whatever what the cost would be between the gas and the transaction, it's not going to tell you what you're paying up front. So I was kind of like, well, why not? Why won't it at least tell you what is that transaction fee? So I guess that transaction fee is really dependent on whatever the gas is in order to mitigate it. I'm really not sure how the mechanism works, but you know, I just wanted to know up front, like, what am I paying? Because here's how my brain works, right? I wanted to think, okay, well, if I know I need X amount of money, then I could, you know, maybe put in X amount of money, which I absolutely hate. I hate that I would have to put like money into my MetaMask to get this. This is a me problem. I get it. This is the space. I know this. I know that's how I have to be. It's uncomfortable for me. I don't like putting my money into this because I'm like, but I know the return will be much greater. But then I'm like, my thing is, I'm not like minting these things. I'm not buying these digital assets so I can turn around and flip them. I'm just not. So for me, I'm literally buying into something, taking money out of my bank account that actually pays all my bills and every fucking thing else. And I'm putting it against this little Pokemon card kind of, right? But look, I believe in Gary Vee. I believe he's going to do the right thing. You know, this is his long-term vision. There's going to be more that comes out of this. So I was like, this is worth it for me, but like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to like wait it out to see if like gas gets lower. Cause everyone kept saying, well, Sarah, I think the problem is like, you are just like very much under, just a smidge under what you need. And here's the thing, like, this is what I don't like about how all of these fees and transactions work, is that you're like literally pressing a button, not knowing what the fuck is going on in like some black hole in the background. And then magic happens. You get a screen that pops up and it says, okay, like now you can pay this, that, and that. And I'm just like, tell us up front, like tell us how much the gas is up front. Tell us how much that transaction fee is going to be up front. That would make me way more comfortable knowing what I'm buying into. And then it just like really overcame me last night, because I'm just like, that just speaks, you know, to how crazy the NFT world is right now. Is like, we literally work so blindly, like we put our hard-earned money in blindly like this without everyone's like, oh yeah, just like throw in a couple ETH. And I'm like, I don't have a couple ETH. Like, I just don't. And like, for me, I'm just kind of like, how much am I actually paying at the end of the day? I want to know up front. And I really felt like people were, if it was like real life, they would have been looking at me like I had 5 heads. Like, they couldn't comprehend why I was just so upset about it. And then I'm sitting back and I'm like, well, is there something wrong with me that I'm questioning this? Like, everyone else is just, yeah, I'm going to give you some ETH. I'm going to give you some ETH. Like, don't worry about it. And look, I am beyond appreciative that there are so many people that are willing to help me out to get this. And it's like, it like brings me to tears thinking about it, because there's just so many giving and caring people. But at the end of the day, for me, it's the principle. It's the principle of, why are we okay with just throwing money in the dark? I know people are going to be like, well, but we love Gary Vee and we trust everything that he does. And okay, that's fine. But like, seeing how shit was so funky, like with this whole process when it first like launched, and I know they were like, it's like, you know, it's new. Like there's always going to be growing pains, and I understand that. But just in general, like, we throw money blindly at projects, and we treat these transaction fees like it's nothing. And when I sit back and I think about the amount of money that people every day will be paying just in transaction fees, just gas fees, that's like every time making a purchase. Well, I guess it is certain things, you know, it's like equivalent to paying like a tax, right? But it's not going anywhere. It's just going to the person that's mining the Ethereum, and it's way higher than a tax would be, you know, by the way. But it's like the same kind of concept. I almost actually treat it as the rush shipping fee is really what it is, but it's like exorbitant amount of money in a lot of cases. And the only way to kind of get around that is to watch gas trackers. And like, by the way, if you're listening to this conversation, you're like, wow, that's a lot of fucking shit. It's a lot. Like if you're going into this NFT space, just to simply say, I at least created a Coinbase, I created a MetaMask wallet, I bought one NFT and I'm happy as a clam, you are going to be so okay in this space. But if you find yourself in a community that's very like forward thinking, or, you know, people hear about like the newest project and I can't wait to buy in, like that is some like Wall Street stock exchange bullshit. Like you literally feel like sometimes you're sitting in a room and everyone's talking about, just like flinging about new NFT projects. And, you know, that's their jam and that's okay. You know, if people can afford to like play in the space like that, good for them. Like really, because I know that there's a lot of people out there who bust their ass, and that is like legitimately what their goal is in this space, is to like learn about the projects, buy into this, buy into that, learn where you can maybe, you know, buy into one that might be rising, and maybe you'll get lucky and purchase one and then turn around and you can afford to flip it. And I say afford to flip it because look, it costs money to list an NFT project to sell. So if you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy this NFT, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to flip it, I'm going to make some money. Listen, you are going to pay not out the nose, but you are going to pay money for the first purchase of the NFT. You are then going to pay money to list said NFT. And again, this is like if you're on OpenSea, Ethereum, blockchain, there's a cost associated with every single thing that you do. It's like every Tom, Dick, and Harry has to get their cut. So that's one thing that's very similar to how we operate in Web 2 space. But, you know, I get very uncomfortable in the space sometimes, a lot of times, because it's so money driven and it's icky to me. I got into NFTs because I wanted to try something new, and I did. I created a Coinbase. I don't know what the fuck a Coinbase was. Like crypto went whoosh over my head, right? And then I learned about NFTs, and I am so grateful for finding the VeeFriends community, because I'll tell you, if I got myself into any other community, I'd probably be fucked. I wouldn't know anything. And let me tell you how easy they made it. Like every single step-by-step process. And I'm just so grateful for that, because it really helped me to understand. I'm a person that like, I need to read every single step. Like you better tell me if, you know, I have to like, you know, left click on something. Like I need that step-by-step. It just makes sense to me. And I don't think you get a lot of that in a lot of these places, you know. There's people throwing projects up there. They're like, yeah, you know, NFT is great. Here you go. And it can be very, it's exhausting. I know for me, like after yesterday and thinking about all the things I needed to do to mint this and that, and people know I have a friends list, so I have people reaching out to me, hey, you want to get rid of that friends list? Hey, I want to buy that friends list spot from you, because everybody knows I legitimately do not have a lot of money, and I'm like loud about it. I don't care. I'm not ashamed of it. I think that there might be a lot of people that are like me in the space who are just like here because they just want to be here and they want to be with the community. But the constant talk about buying into every single project is like too much. Sometimes you have to like take a step back from it. Because that's when like the FOMO demon comes in and you feel like, oh my God, like, am I like a big loser because I can't afford to buy all these projects? Sometimes, even though like in your heart, you're obviously not a loser, but it makes you feel like, what am I doing around all of these people that are doing this? And I can't really participate because I'm not like willing to take all of my hard-earned money and throw it in this. I got bills, I got this and that and the other thing to pay. Like buying a digital product or asset is like not number one on my list. And I think that's the big difference. For me, I'm okay with saying no to it, but it still kind of sucks on the inside because it makes you feel like, like I really want to like love the NFTs and I want to hug them and cuddle them and yay. But then I feel like, God, but it makes me feel like shit because I'm always not having extra money. And the other part of me is like, well, it's not important enough for me to take everything out of my savings and like plop it into like a Coinbase so then I can move my money. And I'm losing money on every single transaction. And that to me like kills me. It's not an easy space for me personally to play in, but I still want to be a part of it. So I dabble with what I can, but God, sometimes it's hard to be in those rooms. It is so hard to be in those rooms, hearing everybody talk about like all these new things. And then when you go into the room, what do you see? Everybody like changes their profile picture and they're like, yeah, I got this new project. And you're like, fuck, I missed out on another one. And so that's the thing, guys, like, people want to show off in this space, and I get it. You spend a shit ton of money, I'd want to show that shit off too. I will want to show that shit off. But there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, like, am I all about the PFP? Am I out chasing clout? Is that shit super important to me? It's not that important to me. Showing off the best thing ever, like, I'm happy with my little purchases. I love my pixie jars. I love my, oh my God, my divine NFT. She's so pretty. She makes me think of World of Warcraft. I love my Fame Lady. It was gifted to me. I love my Tenacious Turkey. Even though I love Conviction Cockroach, Tenacious Turkey was for me. And I'm happy with those purchases. And so, I'm proud to be in the V Friends. And I know some people are very proud and they're like, yeah, like this is a big ass thing for me. Like this is huge. And every NFT means something different to somebody. And like, I get it. But for me, it's not like I don't have to like show, hey, look at my NFT. Like, I'm just not that way. And like, I get a little judgy. I can't help that, but I'm just like, why is like showing off a new, like, and I don't know, whatever. Look, I sound like a dick right now, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick. It's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to get into this space just to dabble and not feel pressured to buy into every single project that's out there, because guess what? You don't have to. It doesn't make you any less of a person. I'm saying this because I'm trying to have self-talk with my own self too. Like, these are things I need to tell myself every single day. And so, if you feel like you are in a position at some point and you're like really immersed in this space, I encourage you to take like a step back and like, just kind of like let it out for a minute and say, have I changed? Has this space changed who I am? Has this space kind of like changed my character? Like, am I still the same person, or am I like slipping into something that's not typically me? These are conversations I have with myself. My glasses are falling and I feel like I'm that. For me, Revenge of the Nerds. Anyway, I have to often have these conversations with myself because I really teeter sometimes. Like I said, I really enjoy being around the people in this space for the most part. And I you know what it is for me is like I know that there's more to this space down the line, and I'm not really ready to give up on it. I think that this PFP thing is a phase. I think this is the first pancake. I think this is the first, like, you know, this is the shit that's really going to help people make a lot of money. And we're going to look back on it and say, hey, remember those PFP days when like a shit ton of people like bought into these NFTs and we made so much money. But then when it came to taxes, we shit ourselves because there was so much money we were paying out on taxes. By the way, that's the thing that's happening right now. People were so excited about their flips and making all this money. Now they're like, oh, we got to pay taxes on it. Yeah. Yep. And there are people that are like, wow, I really did all of that. So reality smacks you, right? You know, just it's okay to be curious about the space. It's okay to be, you know, to be part of it. Just make sure, like, please, I encourage you, just make sure you set your boundaries and you stick to them. Just stick to them. I would not do more than I would in like real life. Like if I have Amazon Prime so that I don't have to pay shipping. Yeah, I pay like an annual fee, which equates to, I don't even know, like $12 a month if it were that. Like, think about it that way. Like, would you pay like $300 to have something shipped to you? Would you pay $150 and think it's a good deal to have, like, you know, a Pokemon card shipped to you? Would you do that? If it was just a one that you liked and it was like super cool and maybe it wasn't worth a whole shit ton of money, but you were like, I really like this Pokemon card, I'm gonna pay $100 in shipping, you probably wouldn't do it. So I don't know, just things to think about. I know that there's more, there's gonna be more everyday use that comes out of this. Right now, we're seeing an influx of the PFP shit. It's, there's more. It can help a lot of nonprofits. That's the shit that speaks to me. And yeah, just don't let the space mar you. Don't let it change your values. Don't let it change who you are. Don't let it corrupt your character, is what I'm saying. Don't let it corrupt who you are. You don't have to get those things to feel like you fit in. And if you're starting to feel that way about a space, I would question, are those even the right kind of people that you want to be around? Is it even a space you want to play in? That's what I ask myself every single day. But with that, welcome to Let's Do a Brain Dump Tuesday with NFTs. Have a great day.